Rachel Zegler. I really like typing her. Let's say it that way. For a long time, I didn't want to make her the type she is, but yes. Look at her lovely face, and she does remind me of some ESFPs, some ESTPs, audio, double feminine. I'm not sure. That's where I started with. Okay, I wanted to start here because seeing Andrew Garfield he's like one of my favorite actors of all time, and they're actually talking about Tick Tick Boom in this one, and I really suggest watching the full video first. It was good for me to see the functions, and introvert versus extrovert, and friends versus flex. So let's see.
And I am absolutely just weirdly proud of someone that I've never met, and I'm so happy to be meeting you. So let's start there.
I'm so happy to be meeting you. I cannot even believe those words just came out of your face towards my face. What's going on?
That's what I'm asking.
I'm telling you that the same sentiment can be shared here.
Oh.
And that's coming from someone who's been watching you for so long. You broke onto the stage in Angels in America so brilliantly and so beautifully, and then to watch you become someone in a musical, and also someone who you're portraying, someone that I hold so near and dear to my heart and have my entire life. I never thought that I would get to see him live again. And so getting to see that on screen is something so special to me. And I lost my whole mind watching that movie. It felt so real to me to watch it all unfold in real time on screen. So I want to thank you for bringing Jonathan into this day and age and bringing him to the forefront of conversation.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yes, that's so sweet. I wish both of them were my friends and we could have talked about musicals all the time. Yes. Let's see what I noted down. Watching the whole interview, of course, not just this clip. I think I see they speak the same language, and I also speak the same language. Yeah. And I realized, okay, what this video reminded me is like me talking to Dave. It is like two extroverts trying to talk to each other, and at some point, Rachel is like going into her consume, I believe. But yeah, there was like constant interrupting of each other and so on. So yeah, that is hinting me to extrovert. And of course, another thing is they are both weirdly proud of each other. Why is that? Like, why are you proud of a tribe member that you don't even know? That is pointing me to friends, but yeah, it is too early for like talking about socials. Yes, let's continue then. To me, until now, like she just seems lovable. Weirdly. I wanted to use the same clips my friend Habib used in his video for typing Rachel as well. I will add that to the description. What I'm getting out of from these clips are, this one, let's start with this one. Observer versus decider, maybe a little. Self versus tribe, control versus chaos, functions again. I'm pretty sure she is speaking the same functions as I do, so gamma. But yeah, let's just double check.
This one's role swap. If you had the opportunity to swap roles with any Hunger Games actor in any of the films, who would you choose and why?
Ooh, that's hard. Because I want to say Elizabeth Banks as Effie, but I also don't want to spend so much time in the chair every day, because that's hard. So I'm going to go with Lenny Kravitz as Cinna, because I still get to be fabulous, but I don't think I have to spend 4 or 5 hours in the makeup chair.
I'm just really impressed by how well thought out that answer was.
It's just, I remember watching Hunter and Tom, and I also had a wig every day on Hunger Games, so it took me a little bit longer to get ready, but never as long as it took Hunter, and she's so beautiful and fabulous in this movie, and she had to bleach her eyebrows and do all the things, and I was like, good God be with you, but couldn't be me.
here is an acting specific question for you. This is called favorite, least favorite. What is your absolute favorite part of the acting process? Like things like putting your costume on for the first time, stepping on set, rehearsing. But then I also kind of want the opposite. Not necessarily your least favorite, but a part of the process where you still see room to grow for yourself and you're eager to tackle that.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think my favorite is meeting my crew that you're going to kind of go on this journey with for the next couple months, depending on what film you're on. Could be weeks, could be months. They become kind of the closest people in your time on a project. I have a really wonderful camera operator that I met on Hunger Games that I adore, Dave Thompson, who, all of my camera operators kind of become my best friends because they're your allies on set. And therefore, it's just kind of like, that's my favorite part, is getting to meet those people and get to know their stories and where they come from, their families, why they do this, do they like it? And I have a really good time with them. With least favorite, honestly, it's like on Hunger Games, I had to be very, very sweaty and dirty. And I am not good at the texture stuff on my hands, on my face. And I can I feel very bratty about it, where I'm like during lunch, like secretly washing my hands and like secretly getting dirt off. There's definitely room to grow in that department, I feel.
You're talking to a germaphobe who's a little OCD. I very much understand that.
I understand, yeah.
This is my would you rather question. I feel like I might know this answer based on your last one. Would you rather have to fake sneeze or fake vomit in a scene?
Ooh, fake sneeze. Fake sneeze all the way. Oh my gosh. I think about the fake vomit scenes, and you know how they're done with like the tube, or you have to hold something in your mouth for a long time. Absolutely not. Bless everyone who's able to do it. Couldn't be me.
Okay, what do we see? I would want to be this role, but I'm not allowed because it wouldn't be efficient and it is hard. So, first of all, quick switch between thinking and feeling. So, but this is of course like pointing me to DE, to TE, and observer. Yeah, okay, this one was really good as well. Like, she shouldn't wash her hands, so she does. It's like what an EP does, guys. I'm sorry. Like, this is just how we are wired. Yes, and she is also like calling herself out that, okay, yeah, I need to improve in this area. And then what else I have seen is that she's telling us how something works, and let me give you all the SD. And I also have seen like she's not SF blind and she kind of adores SF. That is pointing me to maybe a hobby animal, a third animal, maybe, I'm not sure. And yes, not taking negativity in the SF. Like, I do not like the feel of this thing on my hands and whatever, like however you're calling it. So she's like, she doesn't want to take negativity in there. Other than that, I see a lot of like, she's pretty sure about others and she is interested in others. Like, she wants to know their stories, know if they like something, if they do something, whatever. Like, that is pointing me to DE as well. And I see a lot of friends. friends. That's what I see. Now, let's continue with this one. It is again from the same video. Let's see if we can get more out of it.
So you decide you want to be an actor. At the time, what did you think was step one to becoming a professional actor? And now that you've done it, would you recommend that first step to an aspiring actor, or did you find something more effective along the way?
I fell into this industry by accident. So I don't think anything I did should be replicated unless what you're replicating is the fact that I tried. You'll never regret trying. The worst they could say is no, and then you try again. But when I decided I wanted to be an actor, since I wanted to be in musical theater, I was just like, I'm going to start doing community productions. And I was 12 years old and did Fiddler on the Roof in my town where I grew up. And that kind of started it for me. I just kept doing community theater productions and high school theater productions. And it was when I was in high school, I was 16 years old when I auditioned for West Side Story. So from 12 to 16 was like the only time I was doing like amateur theater and wedding singing to make money on the weekends. And then all of a sudden I was up for this huge Steven Spielberg movie, and a year later booked it. So my advice is to try, but also just to learn by experience. You don't have to pay $1 million to get training. I feel like sometimes it really robs these young aspiring actors blind because they make a lot of empty promises, where in reality you can learn from the experience of really working with others and learning by examples that you see.
Yes. There is also quite some we can get from this one. So, first of all, stuff happening as accident, things happen to her. You don't see that from all eyes. It's like if it is happening, they're already like triggered and so on. But they plan everything. However, if we are on EP side, let's say, things happen to us. We don't seem to plan. Everything's an accident. So that's why I'm leaning on OE still. Then you see her a little bit like self-depreciation, and then she's balancing right away. So that is pointing me to DE and DI balance. Self and tribe are quite balanced. Again, I'm leaning on observer. And how she's telling stuff. The fact that I tried, that's the part that she was like, yeah, this is, in objective reality, like ST. And then she explains stuff. Then you try again, and that is making me think of Playblast, maybe extrovert for sure, but Playblast, at least not Bloodlust. And she got asked this question, like, would you recommend what you have done? Would you recommend, like, it's not unsolicited advice, but she also has no problem explaining the things. So not bloodlust at least. And learn by experience. That is how I learn as well, how I prefer learning. So play. And she's also trying to protect people from like paying that much amount of money, whatever. This is what I saw. So you don't have to consume. That usually comes from blasters. Yes, I know we are all evil. Yes, plus versus consume. Let's continue with this one.
Question. What is a seemingly silly question about the way that movies are made that you were afraid to ask on the West Side Story set that you would encourage more new actors to have the courage to ask?
You should, okay, so it sounds really silly, but you should ask where, like, what can you see? This is a question I ask. Really, my A camera operators, but also your focus operators are your best friends on set. I remember on Snow White, I had a focus operator named Ollie. So awesome. And it was my first like number one on the call sheet. It was a very like crazy experience for me, being on set every day, working all day, every day, doing everything. So a lot of it was, I know how to give you the take that you want. I think at least you got to go in with that confidence. But I got to know what the camera is actually looking at. Because is it further away? Do I have to do more on my face? You have to imagine that your face is going to be blown up on a big screen that people are going to be sitting in the front row for. On West Side Story, it was something that I didn't really know to ask yet. And also, I was not experienced in screen acting at all. So even just the micro movement of an eyebrow is a gigantic expression when you're thinking about it on an IMAX screen. So I really had to learn how to control my face in a way. I had Janine Tesori, a beloved Broadway composer, a dear friend of mine who was our vocal producer on West Side Story, come up and like hold my eyebrows down while I sang so that I could learn to just keep it all. You're used to being on stage, you're playing to the last row. And all of a sudden the dynamic is completely shifted.
Yeah. Okay, what do we get from this one? First of all, the question sounds really silly. So she knows the T spectrum, TE, extroverted thinking. That's how it feels like to me. And asking about the frame, I also did actor studio courses and so on. So I remember the first time, like that happens when you are lead ST and then continue with NT, let's say. You need to see something the first time and then you know like what's gonna happen. So on my first take, I was like, okay, then I watched it and I'm like, oh, okay, I had no idea that was the frame. I completely like visualized something completely other than that. And then, like, next time, I know that I need to ask. Because that's what Blast does. That's what, like, NT does, or NI, I don't know, like, activated NI or feminine sensor, because, like, you're visualizing that in your mind. So you need to know. And also, like, you know that your Blast is gonna get consumed by people. That's what Blast does. So you want to put yourself in the other person's shoes. So that's how, like, she was explaining. I would explain it exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. You know, you also need to think about, like, the person who's sitting in the front row. If it is screen and stage, like, it really is different. I don't know how to explain. So, I have to know what you need from me, so I perform. That is Blast. And also, this one I caught, had to learn how to control my pace. Because demon consume, we sometimes do not know how we look like from outside. And that also means literally, like, I am not sure how my face looks like sometimes. That's what she's like, I had to learn that. And she's aware of it. So maybe Blast and Consume are in the middle. Maybe they are balanced. That's what I'm thinking. And yes, again, she gives you the ST report and then explaining how its NT works. Okay, this one was one last check regarding self versus tribe, because that coin, I hate to, screw up that coin. That is really important. Like, if you see self versus tribe on someone, then you're probably gonna get their type right. That's why I spent most of time trying to see self versus tribe.
All the pictures are out there of little me in my Snow White gown.
That's why it's gonna make me cry.
No, stop, because you'll make me cry.
No, don't start, please.
No.
I saw on Twitter you had posted, like, there's the sweetest picture of you in, like, the Snow White costume.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I'm so annoying. I'm sorry.
I'm the same way. It's fine.
We're gonna just, like, start talking.
Sorry, Variety.
Sorry.
Okay. If you're apologizing for sharing negative emotions, then and also, like, emotions feels a bit personal for both of them. Actually, I didn't check the other girl, but yeah, this is I'm pretty sure now that TE above FI, let's say. Then yes, I would like to talk a little bit about what happened to her, and I'm not into talking about, like, what everybody else thinks about her. First of all, yes, she's not a damsel. She's not a damsel. And I just, if I say that, I'm demon intuition, but anyway, how about stop making movies about a dead archetype? That's what I would ask. So maybe the vision was wrong? I mean, just look around. Look how the damsel movies are doing right now, nowadays. There's a reason why they're not, popular. I think for not a damsel movie, that was actually, like, pretty good casting. So she is a Playblast ESFP. Who's your daddy is never gonna work on her. And when it comes to life lessons, yeah, she was impulsive. Yeah, she could have done it differently, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna argue on anything. I completely agree with her. That's something else. She really hits my eye. She's kind of like this another window that, like, I mean, seeing her doing what she wanted to do is somehow, like, also telling me, yeah, you could have done that as well. That's why I'm really, really happy for her. That's the first thing to say. I have to finish this without crying. Okay. Life lessons part. From a Playblast perspective, because nobody's going to be talking about that. Standing on your DI. I think that's, like, one of the biggest life lessons that Playblasts should learn. Like, I'm still not able to do it most of the time. And seeing her that young and being able to do that, I think she has masculine DI, like that's quite a good thing to have, but she did it. And people have asked her not to, stick with her DI, and she stood up for herself. That is also a life lesson, And a number 4 is gonna number 4. Whatever happens, if the tribe needs to be protected, or like there is something going not fair for everybody, they will talk about it. You cannot make them shut up. Especially Playblast ESFP. Come on. I really love this girl. She kind of made me like my type. Like, it's so weird to say. Anyway, yeah, that's what I think. And I also am really sorry about like all the cancellation, whatever that has been going on for her, because I think she might be asleep last. So I know it's not easy to deal with that, and she's a 20-year-old girl, and 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds trying to cancel her without realizing the only one they're canceling is actually themselves. Like, what's your excuse to cancel her? All she did was doing her job, I would say. Yes, that's what I think about her. I definitely favorite Blanky. Yes, this is the type reveal I got for her. OG or double feminine, I think like she's good at her lost animal. And she has a channel. There are some quite some old videos in there. If you would like to have a look, I think it is pretty clear that she's sleep lost, but she is doing her sleep. That's what I can see. That's why I am leaning more on double feminine. And SET, Playblast, consume sleep. Yes, number 4. I'm pretty sure about her social. Yeah, maybe it's not the best I say that. Allegedly, this is my subjective guess for her. Yeah, it was really nice to type her. Also wanted to talk about Lil Tail a little bit. So I'm offering free story circle sessions every month, and I will leave the link below. If anybody is interested, they can submit there, and I will get in contact. I also am typing people now, and if they are not going to get typed officially, I really would suggest people to get officially typed. But if you have a reason, or if you first would like to get an idea from somebody in the leaderboard, I can do that for you. Also into group typings and so on. So if you come to story circle sessions, maybe you are interested in having the 8-week program where we are playfully exploring the objective personality coins in ourselves together, doing the sleep processing together with a team. And then at the end, if somebody wants to get typed, or if the group wants to get typed, I'm pretty sure I can get a good deal from Dave. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. So see you next time.